This is why I want to become a top 100,000 human being.
I want the world to be better and in a better position, scientifically, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, physically, because I was here.
A difference in the human race. I'm attempting to be a top 100,000 human being for high leverage, so I can make a deep impact, high influence. People that they have ideas, bring those into reality very quickly.
Throughout this channel, I'm going to be explaining ideas, concepts, theories, systems, ideas of organization, potentially new, things you might have never heard before, things you definitely have never thought of before. As people, we don't know what we don't know. We can't build things that we don't know. It takes a great deal of thinking about a singular thing to make these discoveries in physics, these world realities, these new realities that we can base concepts off of and improve our technology and improve who we are as a human being.
That's why I'm attempting to become one of these top 100,000 human beings, someone with incredibly high leverage. Here's why most people don't reach it. The top 100,000 person on Earth, top of a tower, and they have incredibly high leverage. And they obtain this leverage through their foundation. And their foundation, that's integrity, responsibility, that's self-esteem, self-worth, even luck. They gotta be a little bit lucky. The average person doesn't make it because they become compromised. It could be for reasons such as a buyout. Most practical reason that people compromise, they defeat themselves, they get in their own way, is because of other people. They will stress test your ideas and place you under pressure. The average person will take a failure. And instead of building themselves up again and moving forward and moving on and producing at a top 100,000 level, they defeat themselves. They get in their own way. And they say it's easier, rather than be stress tested by other top individuals, stress tested their ideas, stress tested their foundation, right? Rather than being stress tested over and over and over, they say it's easier to do something else rather than pursue the top. They defeat themselves. They become self-defeated. But it's usually other people. Other people will challenge them. And rather than them being challenged, accept the level that I've built and move on. They become unbreakable. They become unbreakable, and they are, in another word by Nassim Taleb, they become anti-fragile. They've mastered self-validation. They have integrity, responsibility, self-esteem, they know their self-worth, they're a little bit lucky, and they don't compromise for a buyout. They are unbreakable, they're anti-fragile, they have mastered self-validation. All of these are character. These are all just parts of character. None of this has anything to do with money, none of this has anything to do with relationships, none of this has anything to do with network, none of this has anything to do with athletics, how healthy you are, your eye color, your skin color. All of this is character. This is all character. I mean, yeah, you gotta have a little bit of education too, but the biggest thing in any individual is a fortified character. Fortified character. I mean, someone that's unbreakable. That's gonna be the person that's at the top because they're not gonna compromise. They're not gonna let people stop them. They're unbreakable. They find another way. They're challenged and they find another way. They've accepted failure and they find another way. They've become defeated and they find another way. They don't defeat themselves. That's why most people don't make it. Top individual, they don't defeat themselves. And all it is to get a person up here is these 1%. 1% every day that builds on their foundation. And the foundation looks like education. It looks like stability.
Think of stability as having an abundance. You need an abundance of self-esteem, self-assurance, creativity, education. That's stability. It can generally come from money, but not necessarily. There's a lot of people with very little financial support and end up starting huge companies in tech. But you do need an abundance of education to do that. You do need a high sense of value in yourself. You do need a high sense of self-esteem to be able to do something like that.
1% of the 1%, they do not crack under any circumstance. They remain within their integrity regardless of how the situation plays out. They do not sell their integrity for money. They do not change their morals or principles under any circumstances for anyone or anything. That's someone that's gonna be in a top 100,000. Usually this person, I would say, has worked very, very hard. They've become a master in some domain, most likely multiple domains. Even though I'm not part of that, even though I don't have these things necessarily, I'm gonna attempt it anyway.
Statistically, on paper, with what I'm able to produce, I don't think that I'm at that level. I believe inside I can be, or I already am, but I need to realize that. It needs to become reality.
I want people's lives to be better because I was here. I believe that some of the ideas I have, if I have enough leverage, will be able to cure some of those things. I think so. If not, it'll just make the world a better place. I'm doing it to help people.
If you ever return to this video or any of my videos, other people can reference for information. That's kind of the point of these videos, is one to teach and one to make a reference and to obtain hopefully leverage to become this top 100,000 human being. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. taking the time out of your day to watch me on becoming a top 100,000 human being.